welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a classic French manicure, and I'm going to use dip powders and the gel method. So I'm going to start off with my favorite Virgo and Gem base coat, and I'm just going to apply one thin coat and get that cured in my LED lamp for 30 seconds. Okay, now that that's cured, I'm going to bring out my white dip powder. Today I'm going to use Kiara Sky's Pure White. And I'm also going to get out my sheer pink. So this time I'm using Mimosas by Virgo and Gem. I really like this pink. It works very good with my complexion, but it's also very sheer and just the lightest pink. It's very pretty. I like it a lot. Okay, so I'm going to take my base gel and I'm going to apply that to the full nail. I'm not going to cure it yet. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully insert my finger into my container. And I'm going to move very, very slowly. And I'm doing this because if you push too quickly, you will buckle up the gel liquid since they are still very wet. When I bring my nail out, I'm doing it very carefully, and then I'm making sure my nail is straight up and down and tapping my powders off. And then I'm very gently laying my nail on top of my mimosas to cover up the rest of the nail. You could also pour over this pink powder if you like. Now I'm going to take a pointy tool. It could be a toothpick or an orange wood stick. I'm using my What's Up Nails water marble tool. And I'm going around the edges of my cuticle and my free edge, and I'm cleaning up that cuticle line, and I'm making sure to get all the excess powder off. Now I'm going in and just very gently patting down all those powders, especially around the edges, because I really like my edges to blend in nicely with my sidewalls and my cuticle area. And now I'm going to cure for 30 seconds. After curing, I like to use a stiff brush. It could be a toothbrush or a nail brush. You could even use a soft kabuki brush if you want to, but I like to get all those powders off and have a nice smooth surface for the next layer. Going in with my next layer of base, I like to make sure that I'm keeping it very thin, and I'm trying to be very careful to stay away from my sidewalls and my cuticle line. That will just make my cuticle line much cleaner and easier to clean up. I'm going to go in again with my white powder, and one thing to note is the depth of your smile line is going to be dependent on how steeply you put your finger into the powder. So if you go straight up and down, you're going to get more of a flat line, and then if you go super flat up against the top and just kind of slide across the top, you're going to get a really deep smile line. And so the smile line really kind of takes practice as far as what you like, what your personal preferences are. But then you also want to make sure you have a good view of your smile line when you're putting your finger in, so that you can get it nice and straight and located in the exact spot where you want it, because you cannot go back and fix it later. Cure again for 30 seconds and then take take my brush and brush off all those excess powders and clean that all up nice and neat. At this point, you could choose to do another layer if you want more thickness or more opacity. Now I have chosen to do a little extra. I'm getting my Sophie's Dress DP 168 from Sparkle & Co. and I'm going to put some sparkle on that tip. I'm choosing to put my dip powder container in a cupcake liner just because I love this color so much. I don't want to lose any product, so I want to catch it all so I can keep it. So I'm going to apply a layer of base to the whole entire nail. Before I cure, I'm going to take my flat, fluffy brush that I use for ombreing, and I'm going to stick it in my glitter, and I'm going to pick some up, and I'm going to very gently tap towards the tip. Now, if you can see how I'm holding the brush, it helps to have your hand over the brush so that you can tap your finger. It's really personal preference, so however is most comfortable for you, but I have found that tapping from the top, I have a lot more control. Now with gels, I have found that you can actually tap right onto, like actually touch the brush onto the nail and place your glitters that way. Sometimes I get a lot more control and I can place my glitters the way I want them. And because the gel polish doesn't dry until it's been cured, you can easily clean that brush up. And then I go in with my tool and I move around my glitters that have maybe gotten somewhere where I don't really want them. And then I gently, very, very, very gently try and pat them down just a little bit so that they're not sticking straight up or out from the edges of my nail. Again, before I cure, I take just a little bit of the gel liquid that is on my nail and I tap my tool into it, and I use that to pick up glitters in various sizes and just place them in specific places on my nail so that it looks exactly like I want it to look. Once I'm satisfied, I cure again for 30 seconds. Now that I have my mani the way I want it, I'm going to go in with my base coat and just apply it to the whole nail, and then I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds. And then I'm actually going to do that process one more time. Now, since I recorded this, I have actually started using a brush on builder gel over my glitters, and I feel like that gives me a really great surface to be able to buff on. Afterwards, I take a lint-free wipe with alcohol and wipe off the shiny surface, and then I go in with my filing and buffing. So I start off with my board file, and I'm sorry I'm off screen just a little bit, but I go in and I sharpen up my shaping the way I like it, and it doesn't take much, just a little bit. And then I will go in with my glass file and I run it around the edges of my sidewall and along my cuticle line. And I really feel like the glass file helps so much to get that crisp, smooth cuticle line, and it doesn't aggravate my cuticles and rough them up and make them angry at all. Now that all that's done, I'm going to take my 100 by 180 grit flexi file. And I like this because I have a lot of control with it, and I just prefer them over the buffing blocks. They're less clumsy in my hand. And then I will go through and I will just buff as I normally would for any nail. Because I have those 2 layers of base or a layer of builder gel, I can actually go in and buff it as smooth as I like without hurting those glitters. One thing that you always hear with the gel method, or even just applying a gel top coat to dip powders using dip liquids, is that if you have too smooth of a surface, the gel won't adhere to it, and then you'll get some lifting or peeling of that top coat. This is true. However, you can actually buff as smooth as you want it to. You can get it super, super shiny, buffy, however smooth you want it. As long as you use a base coat prior to using the top coat, it will adhere and you won't have the peeling. The base coat is a tacky layer, and it doesn't just stick to the top coat, it sticks to what's beneath it as well. So buff away as much as you want, shine it up as much as you want, use that base coat, cure it, and then top coat and cure it, and you've got a beautiful manicure. Quick note about curing. I have found most brands seem to be pretty much the same with curing time. So base coats are usually 30 seconds, top coats are usually 60 seconds. If you have really dark colors, you're going to want to go longer because those do tend to take longer to cure. While my top coat was curing, I went ahead and cleaned my glitter brush using this brush cleaner that I found on Amazon. I'm going to link everything that I'm using here today down below in the description box so that you can find it just in case you want to go shopping. If I don't have a direct link for it, there is a link to all my favorites on Amazon, and this particular item will be in that link. So you can find everything that I use either on Amazon or the other websites that I go to, like Virgo and Gem or Sparkle & Co. I also have some discount codes that you can use for various places and referral codes as well. Then I'm going to go in with my cuticle candy, my favorite cuticle oil from Candy Skincare. This particular flavor is Hot Mess Marla. If you know of Marla Chris, she has great videos that show how to do dip manicures and other nail art things. And this particular scent, when you purchase it at Candy Skincare, the proceeds go to her local animal shelter that she finds so close to her heart. And there's my finished mani. So what do you think? Do you think I nailed it? I hope you like this video, and I hope you try this method and find it as easy as I do. And if you like this channel, please give it a like and subscribe, and maybe we can come back together next time and nail another mani. We'll see you later. Bye.